were they had four engines in pods. There's two in pods, one on the left and one on the right. And each there was two engines in each pod made it four-engine airplane. They on the same base they had the refueling jobs. The what was it called? KC-97, I think. But you could see them with one engine, one airplane, with a big long, I don't know what you would call it, going down to the other airplane, giving the refueling the airplane. There was, at that base, there was the bombers, the B-47. There was the refuelers, KC-97, and 124, which was like a big cargo plane. My buddy that I stayed with, he worked on the B-24s, and it was quite a. Oh, you know, I know that you've seen it. You know that pan, that beat up old aluminum pan that sits outside. You see that? When I was stationed there at Barksdale, there was another airman, and he had somehow or another took a job as a salesman for aluminum materials. And I guess I bought the whole set. But anyway, that's the history of that aluminum pan. That's all that's left of the thing.
Quality workmanship there.
Huh?
Quality workmanship
Yeah.
to last all these years.
It really was, yeah, it's still around.
Yeah.
Well, ours, you know the Foot Locker out there? I made that while I was in England.
Really?
And a friend of mine who was in England at the same time I was, he was assigned to what they call base flight. It was a flight from the base. They flew C-47, C-47s, had 7 of them, I believe. But he had a very small sheet metal shop. And I finagled around and got transferred to that sheet metal shop. And we worked together out of the sheet metal. The man came in and wanted to know if he could use our drill press. And we told him, yes, he could use the drill press, but be careful because you have to clamp whatever you're doing, clamp it down so it don't spin. And we were going out, he was coming in the shop. We were going down to the break area to get donuts. I like chocolate-covered donuts. And as we were going out, he was coming in. Well, we went down to the break area. We got our coffee and donuts. And as we come back to our little shop, the man come out of the shop holding his hand. He hadn't clamped it down, and whatever he was drilling spun, cut his hand pretty bad. But it's quite a thing. Yeah, I made the Foot Locker, and my friend helped me, and then that's all I made. I think that's all I made. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was the only kind of thing I made that I kept. Just Foot Locker. Later on, when I was working for American Airlines. I managed to get transferred out to the flight line, what we call the flight line. It wasn't really, but when I was in that shop, I made a little carry around toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever seen it. It's in the other bedroom, I think. Somewhere.
Okay.
But it's I made that while I was there. Huh. I was pulling in. I was driving a tug, and I was pulling in a airplane, pulling it into the hangar, and they tried. It was 727. And I was driving this tug, pulling, and we'd been cutting up, playing, and they yelled at me to stop, and I thought they were still playing. Finally threw a pop can across the front of the thing. I still wouldn't stop. Drug a wingtip off.
Oh no.
Well, I was very lucky because they got into the sheet metal shop real quick, and they happened to have a wingtip which they put on, and they took the airplane over to the hangar then with complete wingtip on. I was driving an airplane back. One of our jobs was to transport airplanes to and from the terminal out of that little shop. And when we different ones actually drove the airplane. And we had gone to the terminal, we'd pick up the airplane. I think it was a 707, I'm not sure. But I was driving. Now, you sit in the seat, and you hit a little wheel down here that you drive with. And we were talking, had been talking and cutting up. And they were doing some work on the not air base, but the air, what is it?
Airport?
That I drove this airplane, and I missed my turn. I was supposed to turn to go into our ramp, and I missed my turn. So the driver sits in the left seat, and the guy sitting in the right seat works the radio. So I'd gone past my turn down, I went down to the end of the runway. I was driving in the runway, and the guy working the radio called the tower, told them what happened, and they said, well, there's not any traffic coming or going. Turn around, go on back, make sure you do your turnover where you belong. When we could monitor the radio. With the radio, we could hear different pilots calling. And I remember one time, it was very, very foggy. And we were listening on the radio, and we heard a pilot come on, and he said it's very foggy down here where I'm at. He said it's so foggy I can't even see my co-pilot, and he's sitting in my lap. Another time we were listening, somebody had come in, landed, didn't know the airport very well, and the guy gave him direct. They had given, you know the big tower that's where they see all this going on. And they had given this guy, whoever it was that landed, directions to go here, go there, and the guy was still lost. And finally, the tower called and told him, said, just stay where you are. We'll send a fallen jeep. Take you to the terminal that way. I remember one time we had brought an airplane from the shop, brought it to the terminal. And at that time in the terminal, there was a small shop that had all picture windows, and they could look out and see the airplanes running. And we were watching, we just brought this airplane over, and we were watching it, and it caught fire. And dumb us, we run out there and grabbed a fire extinguisher and put that fire out. And then we thought later on, well, what would have happened if the damn thing exploded?
Mm-hmm.
I was working midnights once on the out of that shop, and we'd gone to a airplane to do some work on it in the hydraulic part. So we needed some tools, and the guy said, well, we'll run back to the base and get some tools. And I was to stay there. Yeah, I was going to. And dumb me, I don't know if you knew, but the hydraulic fluid they use is called Skydrow. And it burns and gets pretty much on your skin, and definitely in your eyes. And without thinking, on that airplane, I broke a connection loose and sprayed myself with Skydrow. And here I am, 1 o'clock in the morning, blind, can't see. I'm walking around the airplanes, and fortunately, the people who did the service and the food and that saw me and picked me up and took me in, and you could wash it out of your eyes and stuff, out of your eyes, and there was no long-term damage.
Huh.
It just burned.
Yeah.
And if you washed it out, it quit burning. So took care of that way. I've had some very interesting experiences down through the years.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for American well, you've all seen that plaque up there.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for them for 32 years in many different shops that I worked in. And one of the shops I worked in, well, no, I'm sorry, I take it back. After I left American, I kind of bummed around for 8 or 9, 10 years. Worked a little at a place called AMI in Broken Arrow and worked there for a while. But I finally got a job with Spartan, and I worked for Spartan for 20 years. You've probably seen those plaques that I got from Spartan.
Yeah.
And I might still be working for him if it hadn't been for that damn pandemic that scared everybody real bad. So when that came, they shut Spartan down, and I never went back.
Mm-hmm.
But,